Tia Mowry, you do not have to advertise yourself any longer. We get it. You're single and you still look nice, okay? But nobody wants you. Most of you know who Tia Mowry is, all right? She is the twin sister of Tamara Mowry. Now, Tamara Mowry is married with children. She has her husband, and she is living her life to the fullest on her own, free from the public eye, all right? And, of course, there's a rumor that Tia and Tamara aren't on good terms because Tamara's husband doesn't want her hanging with her twin sister because she's single and he doesn't want any undue influence on his wife, but that's another story. In any case, her twin sister is living her life in away from the public eye, away from scrutiny, if you will. Now, Tia, on the other hand, Tia was also married. She got divorced from Corey Hardrick, as we know, in 2023. She says that she graduated from her marriage and all those kind of things. Corey Hardrick has moved on with his life. He's continuing his acting career, and he is also living his life outside of the public eye, continuing to have success, however he may find it, and doing his thing, living his life. Tia has, since getting divorced, she has been on a crusade to try to convince the world that she is happy being single post-divorce.
She belongs to the streets.
And she's done so by posting herself in, semi-revealing clothing, doing, dances or viral dances, if you will, and making daily affirmations and all these kind of things to try to confirm to the world that she has graduated from her marriage, as she said, and now she's happy being single. She's ready to mingle. She's talked about dating struggles and all those kind of things since she's been divorced. She's been on different podcasts talking about how she feels more valuable now and more herself that she's divorced, and her value isn't in her marriage and being chosen and all those kind of things. Ridiculous stuff. Anyway, as I said in my thumbnail, her latest thirst trap is this right here. Now, she posted this about 5 days ago. All right. And there's another post I'm going to get into later where she explains more and tries to do more convincing about her happiness and value. But in this thirst trap, ladies and gentlemen, and mostly gentlemen if you're watching this, but I want you to tell me what is the first thing that you notice in this video. Okay?
Nick, you're stupid.
Because it is obvious and blatant, and you're going to see more of it as the video goes on. Now, as you can see here, she has on these eyewear that I believe is indicative of older women. She also has big, humongous hoop earrings. She has her hair tied in, I guess, probably behind her head, and she has a bodysuit on, or maybe a onesie, as people would call it. And again, she's sitting Indian style in her bedroom, and she's going to start talking. And you're going to see her lips moving. Well, you're going to see one set of lips moving, put it that way. All right, pun intended. Anyway, this is on Tia Mowry's Instagram page, is her content. So let me get my fair use clause before we get started with the reaction. Fair use.
Thought y'all were back together. What goes down in the DM?
It goes down in the DM.
Would you marry me if you knew me well?
Now, people watching this, what do you see?
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
What do you see? I'm not going to enlarge this any further, but yeah, let's continue.
What the hell? What the helianti? Are you interested in younger men like myself? How young we talking? Do you know how old I am? I'm very flattered. Not you outside again. I thought y'all were back together.
Well, she's definitely outside, so to speak, outside. I mean, I'm just like, wow. I mean, Tia, you pulling out all the stops now. I mean, it only gets worse from here. I mean, eventually we'll see you at OnlyFans at 50, right? You're 46 right now, so yeah.
Let's normalize co-parenting in a healthy way. Things don't always have to be toxic. But yeah, I'm outside. No, I'm in my bedroom. I'm inside.
I mean, you're inside. I mean, I like to be inside.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
I ain't talking, well, yeah.
I just think you're absolutely amazing. You display so much grace, and beautiful doesn't even begin to describe you. I know DMs aren't the way, laugh out loud, but I just had to say it. I think that's cute. That's like a nice way to slide into a DM.
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Enemy spotted.
Really, 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 really. This whole DM thing, I mean, come on. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Again, she's trying to promote herself and give off the impression that she's happy post-divorce, that she's living her life to the fullest. She's done the healing and the work. And so she's being unapologetic about her life. Yes.
This was fun. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue to do this.
We're going to end that right there. She's having a great time, as you can see. Again, there are things that you probably noticed in this video, in this this post by Tia. So I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm not gonna spell it out, but I'm sure most of you guys and gals watching saw what I saw, right? So let me fast forward to the post that she made a day ago, where she's giving her, I guess, affirmation or, reassurance. Let's go. If you've made it this far in the video and you're still here, thank you again for your viewership. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell that way you can be notified whenever I go live or drop new content. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, please do so by hitting the Cash App $ Mr. Normie. And you can also go to my Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/workingmanmg. Also, I'm trying to build a community on Locals, so if you would, go please check out my Locals page, and you can join for just $5 a month. You can post, and we can build a community of like-minded working men over there. Thank you for your time. Now back to the video. And you see here, there we go. It says, they told me I wasn't valuable anymore because I'm 46 and divorced. Well, you're 46.
Enemy spotted.
That's the first tell. And you're divorced.
Enemy spotted.
And you have children.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
Okay? Let's go to the next one. For a long time, I believed my value came from being in a relationship, being chosen, being picked, that somehow love from someone else defined who I was. Well, it didn't define who you are, but you made it seem that way so that way you can get out of your marriage.
Enemy spotted.
That you believe your value came from being in a relationship. I mean, really? Maybe in your own head. Anyway, let's continue. Divorce forced me to ask, what does Tia want? When you've been with someone for over 20 years, it's easy to forget who you are outside of that partnership. There we go, partnership, those words again. You was with Corey Hardrick for a very long time. You had children with this man. I'm sure at some point you was in love with this individual. You could still have a life while being married. Now, yes, it's not going to be the same because you have obligations and duty and all those kind of things you have to honor. However, it doesn't mean that you have to be less of yourself because of it. But we're talking about women here that are successful, and the modern woman feels like the more they're in a marriage, the more they're losing their self. And really, they're not losing their self, they're just getting more curious. And because of social media and other things, the more availability there is out there, well, they want to go and see if the grass is greener on the other side. And of course, she's finding out that the grass on the other side is green, but that's only because somebody painted it.
Enemy spotted.
I realized how much of my worth I tied to being validated by a man. Society teaches us that from fairy tales to tradition, we're told we're only valuable when someone picks us. But at the end of the day, You're divorced now, right? And so you're saying that you're happy being single, but you haven't been picked yet. So is it true that you're valuable because someone picks you, or are you just valuable because you're successful and you seem like you're happy? Because if you were that valuable, well, you were divorced, you're back on the market, somebody would have easily picked you, right? But you haven't been chosen yet now that you're out of your marriage. So again, the grass is greener on the other side because somebody painted it. You haven't been chosen yet outside of your former marriage. So how valuable are you? Good question. After my divorce, I saw how people, especially toxic, misogynistic men, looked down on me as if I wasn't valuable anymore because I have kids, because I'm not in my 20s, because I'm divorced. That narrative is cruel and it's false.
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no
Well,
fucking way.
no, Tia, to be honest, you're not less valuable because you're kids or because you're now in your 20s. It's because you left a good man by all accounts. Again, maybe one day you'll tell us why you actually left him, but you haven't. And so now all we have to go off of is what we saw that happened. And so you gave a bunch of lame excuses why you felt happier outside of your marriage. You didn't give a reason that was to the masses, especially men, but women too. You didn't give a reason that was justifiable and say, I wanted to leave. So yeah, that is the narrative right now. And that's going to stay the narrative. You don't have to blame toxic misogyny. You have to blame misogyny. Blame your own actions and your lack of transparency. But I had to unlearn that. I am not less than because I'm single. I'm not damaged because I'm divorced. And I'm not worthy because I'm a mom. Again, you're trying to make the narrative a certain way. We're all looking down at you because you're divorced, you have children. No, those things are knocks against you, but that isn't the biggest determining factor for most people that are looking at you now that you're divorced. Yes, I want love. You already had it, but I'm no longer chasing it to fill a void. I'm choosing me first because that's where my peace lives. More female logic here. I've done the work. I've cried. I've healed. See, this whole you cried, you healed thing, like you got done wrong, but at the same time, leaving the marriage willingly. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like my soul is finally back in my body. I'm no longer floating, disconnected, or trying to survive. Now I'm aligned, mind, body, and soul, and it feels so good. Well, does it?
Nick, you're stupid.
Let's continue. Last page. So let's change the narrative. Being single doesn't mean I'm lacking. It means I'm learning, growing, and thriving at 46, huh? I don't need to be chosen to feel validated. False. Well, in your case anyway. I'm not expired. I'm not too much. I am powerful, whole, enough. And baby, I'm still pressure.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
Love, Tia. Okay, well, again, the narrative isn't going to change because of the circumstances of the situation. And I have to say this also. You're not lacking because you're divorced. You're not lacking because you're older. You still look good for your age, okay? It's not that at all. It's the circumstances of the divorce, Tia, that makes you look bad. And the other things just add to that particular situation. The children, your age, the divorce itself, that only adds to, I guess if we're counting worth here, if we're trying to gauge it or quantify it, the circumstances of your divorce is what has devalued you in the eyes of the public and to most men as well. So y'all see it. The lips is out. They talking and not on her face either. And she's made a declaration about how she's still valuable and nothing defines her, right? We get it. More logic from Tia Mowry. You see it. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about Tia once again trying to convince the world that she's happy now that she's divorced. Down in the comment section, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell, and we out of the door. And remember, Tia, you are single. And you know why. Reality checks are free. See you next time.